Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in again to another episode of CivilianTacticalWeapons.com. Today we're actually going to talk about the GSG5. This is actually very inexpensive. They retail for about $700. I picked this one up for about $459. It's a 20-caliber gun imported from Germany by GSG, and it's look at the price of ammo and stuff and how ammo is hard to come by. Shooting 22 is actually something I never thought about doing in the past, but for the price, I definitely went down this route. They come with 10-shot mags. You can buy high-capacity 22-round mags. And what I wanted to show you is a couple features here. Anyone who's actually handled an MP5 or MP5K is going to feel very comfortable with this. There's two different barrel options. I've actually got on the end of this one is the short barrel. And there's also a flash suppressor, the option. How useful a flash suppressor is on a 22, I don't know. I don't find it all too useful. One thing I would recommend though is if you are having someone who's shooting who's never shot before, I would recommend you put the flash suppressor on. It's not to add any accuracy. It's because of the front of the barrel where you're going to end up, someone's going to put their hands, right here. They could inadvertently put their thumb over the barrel, so if someone doesn't know what they're doing, having this little extra on the end would prevent someone from maybe accidentally putting their thumb over the barrel. We're talking about this first-time shooter. So in order to avoid injury, I'd recommend if you have someone who's never shot a gun before wear this, you may want to put the extended little flash suppressor just for safety, not for any real purpose at all. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do some test firing. We've got 5 shots in a 22-round mag. And we're going to go and fire it. As you can see, the gun has no recoil, it doesn't really move at all. Keep a pretty tight group with them. Not really anything real surprising on the 22. What I do is send the target downrange a little further. There's a couple of things I have to note. This is actually kind of a poor gun to try to bench fire. And let me kind of explain why. When you bench fire this gun, the magazine in it, as you're resting the gun on the magazine, this magazine, I'll try to show you here, actually wobbles a lot. So if you're going to rest it on the magazine, what happens is you have too much floating room here going on, and it can actually cause the gun to malfunction. So one thing to keep in note. The other thing too is, this will be a little hard showing you, holding it, you want to hold the gun like this. You can't hold the gun like this, and the reason why, I know it's kind of hard to see, the reason why is right here is actually how you load the magazine. It's got a tension spring. So you pull this down, you put the little 22s in. Very easy for someone to load a magazine. If you have fingernails, it doesn't matter, very easy to load. The problem is, as you're shooting, this little tension component here is sliding up. So it actually slides up your hand. So if you're holding like this, you can actually be holding the thing down by accident and causing malfunctions. So didn't quite understand it until I shot it. They mentioned the manual, but I didn't understand why until I shot it and realized why you can't do that. So now we're going to go ahead and do is shoot down range. Another couple things that's kind of strange about this gun is it is very heavy. Even though it's a 22, it's all metal parts. So if you're kind of used to a lot of the polycarbonate type guns, this gun's really not going to be the one for you. See, when you start getting further downrange, this is actually setting it down 25 yards, it starts scattering around a bit. The reason why is it's not a very comfortable gun to hold, strangely enough. Because you can't put a stock on it, because remember the barrel length isn't long enough to be able to add a stock to it, or else you'd be causing a serious problem here. You need to actually have at least a 16-inch barrel to be able to put a stock on this gun. Right now it's considered a pistol. The problem is, and I know maybe you hold this, is when you're holding it, it's very awkward to hold, so for very long ranges, it's actually not a comfortable gun. If you can find a nice way of bench firing this, resting on the magazine, I was actually doing it a little bit earlier, you can get accurate shooting. In fact, I guess this type of a group at the yards from a bench only though. When you're standing, because it's not a gun that's actually very light, it feels very awkward to shoot, trying to keep the gun on end. And it's not because of any recoil, there's zero in it. It's just kind of strange to hold. So what I want to do is go ahead and do some rapid fire shooting. It's strange, the difference of not having a stock versus having a stock is pretty drastic. So what we're going to do is rapid fire, really doing this for speed and more than accuracy. Just trying to show you how the gun behaves. And just as I said before, I held the tension screw. So this is what I was showing you. What I did right there is I held this down and it caused a malfunction. What we're going to do is do a rapid fire test. This we're looking for reliability, not accuracy. So as you can see there, we went through all 22 rounds rather fast. It's got a very light feather trigger. And as you can see, pretty much emptying out the 22 rounds. You can still actually keep a pretty tight group. Remember, this is at 15 yards. Remember I did the slow fire test at 25 and we're kind of all over the place. This is not a matter of, it's just weird. This is a very heavy gun, so just holding it at long distances, it's very, very difficult to shoot with any great accuracy. I think with the sling may help this a little bit. If you had a stock, I'm very sure this thing would be just absolutely dead accurate. But remember, this is a gun that's kind of a little difficult to bench fire. So if you can get into an ideal way of shooting it, you can be very accurate with the gun. Anyways, I just want to go ahead and share that with you. Remember, if you have any questions, email me at info@civiliantacticalweapons.com. And I hope to see you in a future episode.